I'll explain to you everything that I did specifically. We're gonna be honest here, we're gonna talk about money. We're also going to talk a little bit about how it can relate to you and what you're currently doing. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Bucci business channel. It's been a while since I made a video on this channel, but with the hustle and bustle of getting back from the holidays, and the LA Fit Expo was this past weekend, but I'm back at it today filming a couple videos, so you will have some every single week for the next couple of weeks. So I went into my More Than Just Gaining Followers free group on Facebook. So if you guys want to join that, it's all for a place with entrepreneurs, people looking to make an impact, grow their social media following, all of that kind of stuff that you're probably interested in being on this channel for. We have a Facebook community, so go ahead and join it. It'll be in the link in my description box. I polled you guys and asked what specifically you're interested in seeing on this channel, and I gave a couple of different options, and the number one option was this video, how I tripled my income every single year since graduating college, and that was the most highly requested one. It's been 3 years technically. The first year I only worked half a year because I graduated in May, but it still counts, and I'll explain to you everything that I did specifically. We're gonna be honest here, we're gonna talk about money. We're also going to talk a little bit about how it can relate to you and what you're currently doing. So in 2015, I started online coaching that January. I was still in college, I was also waitressing, and I was full-time nursing student, and I started just getting inquiries specifically on Instagram because all I was doing was sharing. I had about 10,000 followers. People were just asking me, and I was like, you know what, let me create this thing, sounds awesome. And I had probably 10 clients for the first half of the year, and then I graduated, I moved to California. Moving to California had nothing to do with my success at that point, I just wanted to live there. But I started to get more and more coaching inquiries as I was competing, as I was starting my YouTube channel, and as I was growing. And my first year out of college, I worked full-time doing online fitness coaching and YouTube, but essentially just the money was coming from the coaching because my YouTube channel wasn't even nearly big enough to get any sponsorships. I did get a sponsorship that July, so I started making some commission from PE Science that July, moving through the rest of the year. But essentially, I started my coaching right around May, full-time, and I made $60,000 that year. I think it was either 50 or 60, and I remember just being so excited because I knew that's what I would around be making if I were to do nursing. It was probably going to be pretty similar, like plus or minus $10,000 salary or so. And I was like, you know what, the only thing really holding me back is that I'm not all in on this. I was still halfway deciding if I was going to do a nursing career or not. So for me, going from that point from $60,000 to more, there's these different points that you break through as you make a certain amount of money at certain periods of time. We're gonna talk a little bit about those. There's usually like a $0 to $50,000, $60,000 point, which is where most people are at in their income in America. There's also like a $60,000 to $125,000, and then like $125,000 or so to $250,000, $250,000 to $750,000, and there's all these breaks in the income that you make, and there's all these blocks that you have to go through. It's actually a real thing. I learned about it recently from a business coach. He showed me that there's this income success, like revenue generating success chart where entrepreneurs go through who make that kind of money, and there's always a dip in those points where it's resistance, it's really difficult, there's something new that you have to do to break past that and then move up again, and then there's another one. So it's really interesting the different kinds of struggles that you go through as you go through the different levels of entrepreneurship, success, income, whatever you want to call it. So going from like literally 0 to 60, which is probably where a lot of you guys are at starting off on your business. Maybe this is a side hustle for you. Maybe you're just getting out of college and you don't have a lot. The biggest thing I would say is to just go all in on what you love. That is the biggest thing that I did in the first year. I stayed up late editing videos. I was grinding every single day. Like, this might be the time in your life where you have to just be a rocket ship and start grinding and taking off. You can't come home from your 9-to-5 job and not work on your side hustle because you're not gonna get anywhere. So you have to go home and you have to go work on it. You have to spend all of your spare time working on what you love if you want to make it a real thing. Because once that momentum starts building and you actually take the action, that's when you're going to actually see some stuff happen. I always compare this to fitness because it just makes sense. It's kind of like if you read about doing a squat and you read and you like listen to everything you possibly could listen to, and you listen to all the experts and you read all the books and you watch people on YouTube do squats, but you don't actually get in the gym and do it, and you don't practice the repetition, the grind, the hustle. When you're first starting your fitness journey, if you're not kind of like grinding and hustling, your progress is going to be pretty, random. It's not going to be very linear. It's going to be just a little bit like bumpy and off. And the same exact thing with your business. So the first year, 0 to 60, 0 to 70, whatever it is, like that right under 100K mark, you have to grind it out. And that's exactly what I did. I like hustled my ass off. I didn't know anything really. I didn't, take the time to invest in my business myself too much or anything, because there were so many things that I was learning. I was going off the seat of my pants. I was just figuring out as I went. There was always something to do, and I was just doing. I wasn't necessarily working smarter, I was working harder. But there's something to say about the hustle and the grind when you're first getting started, because you kind of need it to get yourself to take off. And so aside from just monetizing immediately, starting to build connections with people, starting to, build your brand, build your social media, connect with people, and start getting people to trust you essentially, and then you start monetizing and pushing it and just actually creating revenue for yourself. So it's not a bad thing to start creating revenue right away, because you kind of need some revenue to play with if you're going to get to any kind of next level. You can start and build without anything. Like I started my business with $0, zero money. I didn't have anything that I invested in, or it was just me. I didn't have a team. I had nothing. And you don't need anything to get started. It's really interesting on the internet. You don't need any overhead. You can just go. You can just talk. You can just create a service, and you don't have to, have anybody else helping you right away, but just push it and grind it out and get yourself some income so you can start moving it around and investing it back into yourself. So that's definitely what I would say the next year was for me. Not necessarily investing it back into myself, but really going full time with it. So I went full time in 2016. 2016 was when I seriously just grew everything. So 2016 was growing and expanding for me. It was connecting to more people. It was getting serious about my YouTube channel. It was actually, putting my business as an LLC, creating that, making 5 to 6 videos a week on YouTube. I was full-time with my sponsors. It was a full-time thing for me, and it got really serious by 2016, because I was like, I'm not just doing this part-time anymore. It was a full-time thing, and I knew that my effort was the only thing that was going to create an income for myself. So I was just going. I was connecting with people. So not only was I connecting with my audience as much as humanly possible by creating videos, being all over stories, doing all of that, but I was collaborating with people. I traveled. I invested into my business by traveling and connecting with people, doing collaborations with people, stuff like that, going to expos, putting myself out there and being a part of the industry, not just a watcher, but I was in it. And that's what you guys should be doing too. You guys should be focusing on, if you're at that 60 and you want to get to 6 figures mark or so, you should be putting yourself out there, trying to collaborate with people, trying to expand and grow as much as possible. If this is full time for you and you want to take it to that next level, you need to just go all in and figure out how you can just be showing up more in the industry and being an authority figure in the industry and being someone that's a forefront and a face of the industry, rather than just someone who's kind of there lulling in the background. So a lot of my Influencer Academy students got to that point after 3 to 6 months of doing their business, and they hit that 60K mark or so. Some of them hit 6 figures this year, and they're moving towards that 160, 175 area for next year in terms of income. And that not only comes from expanding, growing, putting your name out there, but it also comes from creating a couple more streams of income. So for me, my fitness business was the #1 stream of income for me in 2015. 2016, the #1 stream of income actually turned into all of my sponsorships. So for me, I got on YouTube. Luckily, my channel blew up really quickly from 6,000 to 100,000 in 6 months. Posted 5 to 6 videos a week. Like I said, they were very on trend. I was doing bikini competitions, I was showing everything, and that was really interesting at the time. So I got lucky, but you can still do the same. But YouTube, it's very, very particular, and not everybody can just build that quickly. So it could be a unicorn thing, but regardless, the idea of building different streams of income doesn't necessarily mean you have to find sponsorships, but finding, you know, creating different kinds of products, like lower price products. I had an ebook that was doing pretty good too, the macro tracking ebook, and, you know, collaborating with other people. You can even be affiliates for somebody else's product. So something that you can do is use something like Magic Links, which will allow you to be an affiliate for other brands that aren't necessarily sponsoring you. You can use that service to get commission, or Amazon, you can be an Amazon affiliate to get commission for what you show in your videos, for what you're using, that kind of stuff. So even if you're not being reached out to by a company and being sponsored by them, you can still get commissions from showing different kinds of products and just creating any kind of second income stream. So if you crushed it with your first income stream, you need to create different sources so it's not just coming from one main thing. You have that one main thing, but you also have a couple things to pull from. So in 2016, half of my income actually came from sponsorships and commissions. I made a 6-figure income from just that alone. And then my fitness business also made a 6-figure income. So it was 2 combined. So number 2, that, you know, 60 to 200,000 kind of area, it comes from expanding, collaborating with people, networking, and building multiple streams of income. And then moving forward into 2017 was when shit really hit the fan for me this year in terms of business stuff. I focused far more heavily on actually building businesses. So that's another breaking point, like the 200 to 300,000 or so mark to the triple what that is, which is what I did this year, which was absolutely mind-blowing to me. But there is like a dip and you have to figure out how to go to the next level. So for me, I had no team, I had nothing aside from my YouTube channel, my sponsorships, and my fitness coaching business, which was amazing, but I was at a roadblock. Like literally just a roadblock. I was like, I don't think I can continue to sustain this. It doesn't really make me feel happy. I wanted to create an actual business, real businesses that could kind of live on without me and that could be run by a team. So the next kind of level that I broke through was to hire people, was to outsource, was to build a team. And I spent quite a big chunk of my income this year on just building my team, which I could have done it a little bit slower, but I knew that 2018 was going to be my year of getting to like multiple millions, which I'm really excited about. And it just in terms of like growing and expanding and reaching a different level, and that challenge is just mind-blowing how amazing it is once you kind of realize that you have to keep breaking through those peaks and those troughs in your mindset and your personal development, and that's what's going to push you to get to those next levels. So for me, that next level was absolutely outsourcing. It was building a team. I had to become a manager. I had to become a CEO. I had to become this person that I had no idea how to be and just dive right into it. So I outsourced, and if you guys might have saw my video on my other channel about my team that I built, definitely check that out. I'll put it right up here as well. But again, expanding my team and then building out my product suite. So I actually created new products that were not just fitness coaching, and it wasn't just me that was doing something, but it was something that could live on forever. So automating different kinds of products, creating something that you can create and then keep promoting and keep selling throughout the year, rather than just having like your time, trading time for money. It's not trading time for money anymore. It's trading time for a product that's already been created, and you can continue to serve people with that product without having to keep creating it every single time. So that's what I did in 2017. So I have FOCA, which is currently open for enrollment for anybody who is watching, and the Influencer Academy. 2 of my biggest products this year. Obviously, they have not just helped my businesses grow so much, but I've helped serve so many different people in so many different ways this year by doing that. I could not have done it without a team behind me. I couldn't have done it without outsourcing, and I couldn't have done it without stepping into CEO rather than just solopreneur. So I hope that was helpful. I hope it was interesting for you guys to hear what exactly specifically I did to break past those different income revenue generating marks within my business, and I hope it helps you with whatever level that you're at now to just understand that in order to break past, you have to continue to think about the long term, the leveling up, the scaling, the growing, the expanding, all of that kind of stuff. So leave a comment below, let me know if you enjoyed it. As always, the first 3 people to comment, so there's probably already comments down there. The first 3 people to comment will always get an Instagram engagement audit from me specifically. So I'll comment, let you guys know exactly what you need to do to improve your Instagram. I look at it on my own time and I just go for it. Usually it takes me maybe a couple hours. I may not be in there like the first second, but you guys will get your audits, so don't worry. So put on the little notification on, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.